Welcome back, everybody. Let's see what we're working on. Yep, so we're finally gonna get back to working on this Monte Carlo. I previously did some body work on this, on the both front fenders, and then it sat for a long time, and I had some rust buildup. So I'm gonna pull all this. There's actually not that much filler on here. There's one layer and then a guide coat, maybe a couple small layers. I don't know, but we're gonna pull it all off, and I'm gonna start fresh. We're gonna strip the rest of the both front fenders, that one also, and yeah, we're gonna get working on this. So stay tuned. I'll get everything set up, and maybe I'll put you on time lapse. Look, my new hat came in. Sweet. Either way, this inner part of this fender's got to come out. I'm going to try to do something about those rust holes, but I don't know. I'm trying to find new front fenders, but I'm not having any luck. So I'm going to cut it about right here, and try to peel this inner part away. There's a dent right here that I'd really like to get out. I don't want to fill it. So that's what I'm going to go try to do. I'm going to cut that. All right. So it's a nice big chunk cut out. It's right there. There's a bunch of rust holes in it still. Much like that. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, and what we're going to do is, we're not really going to butt weld all of this. This over here will mostly get butt welded. But what we'll do is we'll put a piece of metal along here, so that way we have something to weld to on the other side. Just makes life a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff cleaned up, and yeah, I'll be back. Alright, so I threw some weld-through primer on there. Yeah, I do have a run. I don't care. So now I gotta go grab some metal. This part's gonna suck, but we'll butt it up as best I can. I'll use the old piece as a template to make it work. So yeah, I'm gonna go grab some metal, and I'll be back. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 1-inch, well, 2-inch piece. It's going to go here and up and over, okay? And that's going to give me something to weld to on the other side. And I might come up this side too, but that will be after I get the other piece cut out and tacked into place. That way, this piece that's super flimsy like that is located where I need it to be. So, let's go grab some metal and cut some pieces. Alright, so this is basically what we're going to use. Oh, there it is. Lost my damn marker. So mark on here where I'm cutting this off at. And now I'll cut this. And now this, cleaned up, will sit like this, and we'll tack it in. I'm trying to do is get all the little burrs off of it. Now on all the edges it's nice and smooth, so now I'm going to go ahead and get the rust off. Okay, we got that all cleaned up. Stuff before I paint, I use this to clean it. Works phenomenally. Leaves no residue, no nothing. Now that that piece is nice and shiny, I'm going to use this stuff. I'm going to throw a quick coat of paint on it. This is just a weld-through primer, so it also prevents rust. So it's kind of like a galvanized coating, basically. I went ahead and did that on one side. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll pull the glue gun out and we'll melt stuff together. Alright, so we got our welder hooked up and on. I think all my good clamps are actually out in storage right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to tack this corner first, and then we'll slowly work around. And I need to hold this nice and straight because this panel is curved a little bit, so I need to hold this down. But we don't want to get the panel too hot, because if we do, we'll warp it. And that's the last thing we want to do. So then we'll come over here. And we're just doing quick little tacks. Alright, so we got those kind of tacked in, so I'm going to go through and put a couple more. Ooh, just burned my foot. I'm even wearing leather shoes. Holy crap, it just burned through me. I'm not the world's greatest welder, and I don't have the world's greatest welder, so yeah, you get what you get. It's the worst part about doing these tiny little thin pieces of metal is they like to warp a lot. Alright, now I don't think I'm going to need a bunch on there on that side because I'm going to be welding on the bottom side to the actual panel itself, so I just wanted to tack that in there. This gives me something to lay the piece of metal against and just makes life easy. So we're going to go ahead and put a piece here and up here now, and I'll probably actually stop right here and then put another one right here because this angle is different than right there. So I'm gonna grab some metal. Okay, got another piece of metal. I gotta trim it down a little bit. Actually, we might be okay. We're just going to trim it. I always use a vice grip. The term "do as I say, not as I do" comes in right there. And there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and get this primed, and I'll be right back. Okay, I got that tacked into place. I'm going to say I've used a lot of weld-through primer, and this is the first time I've used this stuff. And I'm going to say it sucks. Where's the other stuff I have? This stuff is by far superior, so that other stuff is good. I hate it. Goobered up my weld over here pretty good. Woo, I was on fire. God, that stuff just sucks. And it's not pleasant when it's burning. Jesus. Hell with that. Now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this piece. I might not. Might just put one right here and call it. All right. That's a problem. Maybe that's why I was using the other stuff. Oh, I'm determined. Not determined enough. Well, guys, it might be SOL, and I might have to use the other stuff. Looks like the this is gonna win. The other stuff is just too clogged. I mean, in its defense, it's pretty old. Huh. It works. Not well, but well enough. Darn, I got my new, here on the new tripod, and, you're covered in well-due primer now. Anyway, I'm going to let that dry quick. You'll notice a huge difference when I when I weld this with that different primer. Huge difference. Granted, it's on fire right now. That's weird. I'll have to show that to you. That's kind of fun. Either way, I'm going to clean those welds up a little bit. That'll do the trick. It's been a long time since my high school days, but my shop teacher always said, grinder and paint will make the welder I ain't. So I'm gonna take a page out of his book. And take a flappy disk to it. Remember, safety first, kids. Progress. So now we can go ahead and get a bigger piece of metal and cut it out and replace that. Alright, so this is the passenger side fender. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut it probably right here. And then I'm going to have some spot welds that'll have to drill out along here. And then there's some right here too. So we're going to cut that off and I'll be right back. So there's a couple. There's one. There's one right there. And there's a couple along there. And as you can tell, that's really crappy down there. So what I do is I drill a pilot hole And I use a step bit to drill it out. Alright. So we'll start with this one. I have an actual bit for this. But for the life of me, I can't find it. So this is what we get. Just take a 5/8 screwdriver in here. And separate them. But looks like I missed one. So you guys don't need to watch all these, so I'm gonna get these drilled out and I'll be right back. Alright, looks like there's a previous repair in there. I didn't really touch this fender, so that's much to do. And if you'll notice, this guy's rusty too, so I might have to patch that in, I don't know. There's actually quite a bit of old repair. Those are all little spot welds that are through the metal. So that's cool. I knew this fender was rough, but I didn't realize it was that rough. So, yeah. Alright, well, I'm gonna grind this smooth because most of that's still solid, and there's a bunch of dents right here, so I'll grab the hammer and dolly and start dollying. Okay, I have a nice little area I'm going to cut out right there. I'm going to come across this right here and again come down in this. I'm hoping to be able to leave this up here. It's super thin right here, but we're going to see what we can accomplish. But before we go about doing that, I am going to try to straighten some of this out right here. So I'm going to grind off these welds quick. Alright, pitter patter, let's get at her. I did that so when I'm hitting these welded spots, which I assume are holes they drilled to put a slide hammer in, I'm trying to avoid hitting that weld and just creating a divot on the other side. bunch of low spots. And they would have used a slide hammer to do this because they didn't take, I don't think they took the fender off. Maybe they did. I don't know, but they didn't cut this out. So I'm going to keep doing this and I'll be back. This is an art form in itself. It's not super easy. Patience goes a long way. I'm not going to be able to get this perfect because of just how mangled this is. There's going to be filler on this. It's just how much is there going to be. So I'm trying to bring down high spots. At the same time, trying to get rid of the low spots in other places. And with a panel that's just this bad, it's very hard. They're almost better to not go that far and just have some filler in there, which, like I said, we're gonna have filler. There's no question about that. It's just how much filler do we want? The answer is not much, but I have a feeling we're going to have a little bit. But I think we're pretty close. Still don't like it right there, but this guy sits right here and I can still get to that, so we'll make that work, and we'll get this piece put in, and I'm going to tack this right here because right now this flexes, and as I'm tapping on that, it flexes a little bit and I don't want it to. So I'm going to get this cut out. I'll grind all this mess down, weld this piece back in, grind that down, and then we'll come back to this. So I want to keep this in one piece if possible that I'm cutting out. The worst part is I'm missing this giant chunk that I kind of need. Because I want to trace it and be as precise as possible, so I might have to do my best. God, it is so thin up there. And it's not right there. but sorry, my fat bald head's in the way of the camera. That is not what I wanted to do. Oh, that's terrible. Terrible. Just terrible. I mean, it could be worse. Just straighten it out. Those pliers are garbage. Apparently I need to warranty those ones out. So I'll just go through and straighten this out to the best of our ability. I think that's about it. That's the best we're gonna get there, guys. That sucks. There we go. I don't know why I'm using that. I have a flappy disc for a reason. I'm going to be honest with you. I am probably not doing this the right way that anybody else would do, but I'm an amateur at best. So, much like before, we're going to cut out strips to go right here and right here, and we'll weld in that little backer plate. And I have something to weld to. If I can put this on. But this out a little bit. There we go. It's not perfect, but it'll work. Come back. Okay, it looks like that stuff is dry because I sprayed that piece of metal to go ahead and tack into place with my alpha welding hose. In my cheap ass welder. Excuse my language. I try really hard to not cuss in my videos so that everybody can enjoy this. Even though my video quality isn't stellar, I'm still relatively new and still learning. So hopefully it will get better as we go along. So I got that one tacked. So I'll be honest with you, the welder I'm using is just a cheapo Harbor Freight. I mean, it's nothing special by any means, but it works. And honestly, that's all that matters. I don't weld anything super thick to begin with, because let's face it, I kind of suck at welding. I had a super nice Miller 135, but I lost it. Yeah, all right, there we go. So tomorrow it's all about rebuilding the rest of this. And what we'll do is we'll take this and we're just going to put it on here. So we're basically going to cut that out. So now we have that. I have this. And what we'll do is we're going to knock this up and bend it up. Looks like I need to bring this. I got a dent right here. That's in. And this is in. But we're just going to trim this piece up, like so, and so we're going to grab this guy, and I need to cut there to here, and I need to bend there and there. Alright, so now we'll take our straight edge and we'll make a line there. A line there. So now that's where we need to cut. Not that one. We're bending there. We're cutting that. Okay. Kind of shaped it a little bit. So up there, we're really good. So we can probably tack that down up here. Don't forget your safety squints. But hit the wrong button. And right there, I'm going to grab my helmet. I want to see. My dad is the body man of the family, but unfortunately, he does this all day for a job. And I feel bad asking for help, so I'm learning on the fly. Let's bring you over here. See a little bit better. Alright. So now I'm going to work my way down this side, I think. Looks like I need to take a little bit more off of this side. Alright, so I got that to fit a little bit nicer. I'm not going to weld up in that corner because it is not great. I mean, really none of it is, but stay. Hey, look what I found. A clamp. It doesn't go far enough in, so I can't get up there, so I'm gonna get down here. Alright, so I'm going to have to go buy a different clamp. Clamp that right there. But we can get this right here. Ah, I burned myself. Son of a biscuit. See, I watched my mouth, guys. I can do it. Hey, but I got it welded. Burned myself in the process, but I did it. I think my glove is fused to my finger now. I need proper gloves, guys. Yeah, see? Focus. Look at that. Nice little burn hole. So with that, I'm done for the day. That sucked. I'm gonna go get this piece of metal out of my finger. So we'll catch you tomorrow. Alright, it's a new day and I got leather gloves. Because it turned out pretty gnarly. She got 2 of them. So looks like we'll have to do some final panel fitment along this edge, which is fine. Look at how big the thumb is. That's crazy. Oh well. Either way, let's get some more welding done. Okay, so got the majority of the welding done on that. I have to fix this little area where it's not totally straight, but I dollied a bunch of that out, and then I gotta line this up and get a backer piece put in there and get that welded up, and then all these little areas that I found, I'm gonna come from the back and dolly up. It's just a bunch of waves right there, and then we'll get the backer plate put back on, that guy right there. But in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. It's getting kind of long and I want to get a video out for the week, so the rest of this week I'm gonna dive back into this fender and get it finished up. I'm waiting on new epoxy primer to show up, and we'll get it in an epoxy primer, get it sealed up and ready for just bright white paint. So stay tuned and stay up on this restoration, loose restoration. But remember, like, subscribe, share us. It really helps us out, gets us out there a little bit, and allows us to make more content, and yeah, we'll keep stuff going. Anyway, I appreciate every one of you. Like, subscribe, share us. Deuces.